It's just after 5 o'clock in the morning when detectives quietly surround this Wisconsin home. The people inside have no idea why police are there, but investigators believe an online account connected to this address may have been involved in something deeply disturbing. And before this morning is over, one conversation is going to turn into a series of admissions that completely changes the investigation.
Hi.
Greg.
I'm Detective Hirschbach of the Greenfield Police Department. Do you mind if we step in and talk with you real quick? Thank you. Oh, is your dog friendly?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm here.
Oh, 2 dogs. And if you want to come down here and do that, and we can talk to you, and she can come down. And do you have a place you want to put the dogs down here? Is there?
They want to talk to both of us. The cops are here.
Yeah, that's fine. You want to go downstairs while she does that, and that way, here, you can just shut the... Oh.
Hey, come on, hey. Spencer, come here. Yeah, they're not.
Like my dogs.
Come on. Hey, Spence, come on.
I don't think he's coming out.
Come on.
Do you have a place that we could talk that way? I think maybe Brock will talk to her wife, but do you have a place you want to...
Let me sit here.
All right, that works.
The couple is cooperative from the very beginning. There are no raised voices, no attempts to run. In fact, they still don't know why police are standing inside their home, but detectives already have a search warrant, and they're about to explain exactly why they're here.
The reason that we're out here is our department is investigating an ICAC tip. I don't know if you're aware what that is, but the gist of it is it's Internet Crimes Against Children tip. And the way it works is basically like online company, every company that operates in the U.S., basically they are obligated by law that if certain things happen, so whether you're using like Facebook or Snapchat or, you know, any type of like any type of platform on the internet that you're using, basically they're obligated that they have like giant master lists of things, and when certain things are either said or certain things are sent or done or uploaded or downloaded, basically it triggers a response from them, and then they are mandated to reach out to law enforcement. And basically what we're doing is investigating. There was how they backtrack that is then ultimately wherever that, let's say hypothetically it's a Facebook account. That Facebook account, they can tell anytime you connect to the internet, whether I'm walking down the street using my phone, or if you're at home on a computer or a laptop, or if you're at a friend's house or whatever, wherever you're using the internet, everything is like logged and they can backtrack. And so that's the reason that we're here, is just that this tip originated from your your service, which I think is it AT&T? Or is it Spectrum, or what do you guys use for your internet?
Home is AT&T.
Okay. And so basically that's the reason that we're here. Right now we do have, and this is how we do this with with all of these, we do have a search warrant. And I'll give you a copy of that here. Basically, we're hoping, like I said, Brock's going to talk to your wife. I'm going to talk to you, and, you know, I've done quite a few. I'll grab that. Apparently, Brock did not. And basically, we'll try and do this, obviously, as, you know, discreetly as possible. You know, we're not trying to make a huge deal of it, but this occurred over the 25th. It occurred on Christmas, the Christmas of 2024. So this last year.
Christmas?
Yeah. And again, but basically for me to be able to talk to you, and I have to still read your rights and stuff like that, because I can't ask you any questions. Because again, I mean, is it a possibility, you know, like people use other people's Wi-Fi, and like, you know how it is, like, we're basically trying to kind of backtrack this to figure out what's all going on. But with that, like I said, I do have to for me to question anybody or ask any questions of anything, I can't do that without reading your rights. So, do you mind if I do that real quick? Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before questioning and to have a lawyer present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at public expense before or during any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop the questioning and remain silent at any time you wish, and the right to ask for and have a lawyer at any time you wish, including during questioning. Do you understand each of those rights? Okay. And again, like, I can't really explain much more than I can, and I can't really, like I said, unfortunately, in situations like these, I can't go into much other detail unless I'm asking you questions about stuff. Because again, there's been times when we've had that these are misunderstandings, or, you know, I understand it was over the holidays. There could be a possibility that people were, you know, here at the house that were doing something that they shouldn't have, but
Could somebody have hacked it?
I don't know. But basically, willing with the understanding, you said you understand your rights. Do you mind just answering questions, or do you mind talking about what, just so I can, hopefully we can kind of figure this out? Because what the warrant entails, and that's your copy that you can keep and read, but basically the gist of it is, and how I conduct these is, basically we'll collect all the devices in the house to get a search warrant to search all the devices, because again, we have to go with what we have. So if something leads to a house, you know, then we have to figure out, you know, what devices, and then maybe what persons or people are responsible for whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I can just kind of explain how I do this typically, which is basically I'll give people like an opportunity, and this is only if they're involved. Like I said, if it turns out to be it's some other thing, it's some other thing. Like you said, if someone, you know, came over and used your Wi-Fi, or, you know, a neighbor is using your Wi-Fi, or someone hacked your account or something like that. But if people are involved in something, basically I like to give them an opportunity to be honest about it, because there's a big difference with stuff like this. It's kind of like being let's say like an alcoholic. People don't realize that, yeah, you can choose your behavior, but there's still that drive in a person that makes it difficult. And, you know, someone that maybe is an alcoholic can at least choose how they react to that. They can admit like they have an issue, or, you know, if you've ever known anyone that's an alcoholic that is like, no, I don't have a problem. And I mean, it keeps that self-destructive behavior. And obviously, like, at least me personally, I like to treat people, like the people that know that it's an issue, at least that's someone we can kind of work with. And what would happen in those cases is, if someone's open and honest about like what's going on, like I said, we still have to collect all the devices. There are, you know, honest about what's going on. Like I said, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of any of it. I don't judge the things that people tell me, because again, it's kind of like being like homosexual, or, you know, if you have attraction to, you know, girls with big asses and big, you don't get to pick what you're into. Like, you can't change that in your head. Like, it's just part of who you are. Like I said, there's no real judgment with that. But like I said, people that are at least honest with it, you know, we can treat them as such. Like, hey, I know this is an issue. And so basically, if that is something that's the case, we'll talk about it. We would talk about, you know, where they, you know, what they did, or where they find these things. Make sure that there's nothing actually going on with like real kids, so to speak. Right. Because obviously that's like a big difference too, is that, you know, it's a big difference between me going home and looking at, you know, versus me going out and, you know, having 50 women a night. You know, your wife would be pissed at, you know, wives would be pissed at stuff like that, or your girlfriend or whatever. So there's a big difference between that stuff too. So, you know, we'll still go back, we'll search the devices. And basically, I mean, I can just say historically speaking, like, you know, the way devices work, and I don't know how familiar you are with computers, but no matter how much, like, and we've tested this with our own phones and stuff like that, you know, we can delete things, but computers, you know, never truly get rid of everything. Even when I'm deleting stuff, you know, if I delete contact numbers on my phone and whatnot, or pictures or videos, like, there's still sometimes ways to, like, there's always pieces of those things left in a phone, which the forensic people find. So, like I said, people that are honest about, like, yep, something might be in a certain device. Okay, what we'll do is we would set up a time in the future just to come in, get a booking, and then they would get a court date, and that's it. Like, nobody has to go to jail or anything like that. Do you have questions about the kind of what I just described?
Investigators explained that an online platform reported suspicious activity connected to this residence. Whenever certain illegal material is detected online, companies are legally required to report it to law enforcement. That report eventually led detectives here. At this point, officers still don't know who inside the house is responsible. That's why every electronic device is now part of the investigation.
Started with a thing over Kick Messenger. Are you familiar with Kick Messenger?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay, it's like a messaging app. Do you use it at all, or have you ever used it?
No.
Okay. Do you know of anyone in the house that uses it?
Nope. It's just me and my wife.
Okay. Since we're talking about Christmas again, I know a lot of people like travel.
I did have problems before with the service.
Okay.
Weird logins.
Okay. What do you mean? Like
stuff that comes up on our devices that weren't from us.
Okay. Was it was specific devices that you're?
I think it's mostly the handheld ones.
You mean like tablets?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's a good question too. Like, what kind of devices do you guys have in the house? Do you guys each have cell phones?
Yeah. That's our only means of communications.
Okay. I know everyone got rid of, even we got rid of our house phone. So it's just, and your wife's name is, so she has a cell phone?
Yeah, we both do.
Do you have access to her phone? Do you know what, like, her, like could you get into her phone? Does she keep it locked and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Do you know what her password is?
Yes, it's the same as mine.
What's that?
Wait, our fingerprints are for the phone. And
Okay.
The passcode.
Okay, so hers is the same as yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you have a cell phone, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I see two tablets here. Or is one belong to one of you and one belong to the other? Or who is
Mine's
here?
the red. The other.
Okay. And do those have like passwords or thumbprints, or what do you do for those?
Passcodes. It's the same.
Same thing. So that's what everyone does. It's like if you didn't do that, I mean, you imagine how many passwords you'd have. It'd be like 1 million. And one of the ones that does black. Any other devices that you guys have in the house?
We both have laptops.
Okay. Where do you guys keep those?
They're upstairs in cases.
Okay.
Bedroom.
Is there? I mean, do they look the same, or is there like an easy way to determine which one belongs?
Well, actually, they are. Well, I think I got them named on the bottom both.
Oh, like you have your names on them or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing on those. Do they just open up, or do they have like passwords and stuff to get into those as
They got
well?
passwords.
Okay. Is it the same thing or something different?
I think you can get into both with the passcode.
Okay. So you think both of those, like your wife's too, you think is the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else other than laptops, tablets?
And their phones.
Okay.
That's it.
Desktop in here, Jason.
Okay. What about the
Desktop.
desktop? Is that like somebody? I don't know if you guys are
That's
working.
ours.
Okay.
That's common.
Okay. So everybody uses that one.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
And I'll
everyone.
use everybody else's, so
Okay, gotcha. All right, now that was going to be my next question. Just like if everyone like just occasionally, and I know how it is. Like everyone kind of shares devices sometimes. Does your wife use your laptop at all, and do you use
we
hers?
very rarely use the laptops.
Okay,
That's more for like backup pictures.
gotcha. What about the tablets and stuff like that? Like everyone, do you guys use each other's?
Yep.
Okay. Any other devices that you can think of in the house?
No.
Okay. And you said that you have never
There might be
used.
some old ones sitting around somewhere.
Okay. Do you know the last time that you would have used one of those, maybe, or anyone that you're aware of?
Years ago.
Okay. Like these are the kind of replacements.
Placements, yeah.
Gotcha. Let's see. As far as you said, you don't use Kick. Do you know if your wife uses Kick at all? Okay. What about as far as like Christmas? Like I said, so this was occurred around Christmas. Were you guys traveling during Christmas? Was there people
We went away.
here, or where was everybody? Like what'd you guys do for
We
Christmas?
went, my sister-in-law.
Okay. What's her name? So that's your wife's sister.
Yep.
When was that? Like, what did that look like? I mean, where did she live? Like, she lived...
No, wait. Christmas, we went to... Or actually, we went to my brother-in-law. Sorry. She was there.
Okay. And how late did you guys stay there?
We were probably there till early afternoon, like 1, 2. Can't say exactly.
Okay.
Remember exactly.
I mean, if you asked me what I did 2 days ago, I don't know if I would be able to recall. Did anyone come over to the house during that period of time, like over Christmas? Or was it just you guys? Okay. So no one else. When's the last time anyone else has lived in the house? Like, other than you? I mean, I know you have I take it your daughters are both, like,
They're both married,
grown.
yeah. Grown, married. It's as long as they've been married over 10 years.
Okay. Haven't had any, like, anybody that stayed for even short periods of time that, like, even would have stayed for, like, a week or anything, like, traveling from out of town or anything like that, like relatives or friends and nothing. Okay. As far as, like, what emails that you guys use, what email accounts do you have? Like a single email, or do you have a bunch of them? Or
We got 3 of them.
okay, that you use, or is it kind of like okay? Which one?
Well, one's my wife, but I got access to it.
Okay,
She very rarely uses it. It's
Okay.
just,
she has it in case you need to sign up for something. Or you did mention that you've had like issues with things popping up on, I guess, on your like devices. Which devices have you had issues with, or which have you noticed like strange stuff? And I guess
strange stuff is probably the tablets and the phones.
okay, like both you and your wife's,
Yeah.
and both tablets. You're saying?
Yeah. Seems like somebody, I don't know, tries getting into it or something like that. I don't know how to describe it.
When's the last time that's happened?
Not recently, I'd say end of last year sometime.
Okay. So, in what exactly occurred that you were like, hey, this doesn't look right?
Looked locked up. It just acted weird. Nothing that we took notes of or anything. It just like it acted weird.
Okay. Like what? Like what is it doing? Just so I can kind of get a taste of what.
Like I said, it only happened like a couple of times. It's not something I paid really much attention to. You know how stuff happens that'll lock up and you can't get into something.
Is that one of the things that was happening? Like
Yeah.
it would just like freeze up or lock up? All right. Anything else other than locking up that's happened with them?
No.
Okay. I know you said earlier something about like stuff would pop up. I mean, were things popping up or happening on your?
No, it's like it had harder time getting access to it. Like it freezes out.
Okay. Like it was running slower, you're saying? Like harder accessing?
Yeah.
Like, was it a specific app, or was it just the device
The
itself?
device itself.
Okay. You've never seen anything on have you ever seen anything on your devices that you're like, that doesn't belong, or nothing showed up on your devices that you're like, I don't know how this got here, or anything like that?
Weird ads that popped up.
Okay. Like when you're doing what?
Just like I said, we do play a lot of games on there,
Okay.
so that's happened. And the usual weird ads that pop up that, like,
Okay.
where in the hell did that come from? Since you never get into it.
The games that are playing, that when you guys are playing, are those just like free games that you download and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is typically a normal thing. Like that's how they make their money, you know. Like it's a way to advertise to people at the same time. And so, okay. Anything else that you can think of?
Nope.
The man initially denies using the app. He suggests maybe there were strange logins or issues with his devices. Detectives keep the conversation calm. They're not accusing him. They're simply gathering information and documenting every device that could potentially contain evidence.
It's kind of my concern, and again, I'm not trying to put you in the spot, and I'm not even trying to really do anything, to create a situation between you and your wife, but, unless typically if we have a situation where, something is occurring, usually there'll be some kind of explanation for it. And like I said, I guess I'm very worried, I guess, that, I get right now, nobody likes to, I guess, have these conversations, especially, with basically strangers that show up at their house at, 5 a.m. But my concern is that, going forward, if we do end up finding things that maybe someone thought, like, for instance, like when we find that someone deleted a Kick app or something in the recent, like back in December, like that's obviously gonna, I imagine, would throw up red flags, right? What do you think that would indicate, though, if we would find, let's say, a Kick app on the device?
Well, I did see what it was like.
Okay, so you have used Kick in the past.
Personally, no.
Well, what do you mean, like?
Well, I've done the search Kick app, and
yeah, but I mean, there's a big difference between just searching Kick and, because like I said, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, like, everyone thinks the internet is very anonymous, and it feels very anonymous, and it's so vast and so big that, but there are, like, things that very much, in a lot of these places, like, you can use Google, you can use all these free games, free everything. But the trade-off with using all these free services is, like, as well as I do, nothing in life is free. Mm-hmm. The way that they make money is they take and record and collect everything from us. Like, if you would look through my phone, I would be able to tell everything I've done in the last, since I've had this thing. I mean, same with my internet activity. Every time someone accesses from certain points in time, we can, they keep track of all these things. So there's, like, when they look through the phones and stuff like that, they can find, not only what was on there, but, like, that includes apps. So if someone downloads an app, and I guess my worry is if we, you're looking at Kick, I'll be perfectly honest, not a ton of people use Kick just because it's kind of a user-specific type of app. There's a million messaging apps out there. WhatsApp, Signal are probably kind of the two more popular ones right now. Discord, you could say, is one of the more popular ones. But Kick is very much one of those apps that is popular, but it's popular for a kind of a certain thing. And again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and I'm not trying to, like, embarrass you. And again, I'm like, what we say between you and I doesn't have to be what I like. I don't care what you tell anyone else, but I still am concerned that when we look, we're going to find that Kick was probably downloaded, because we can tell the difference between that. Like, if it's on the...
I did download and that stuff, but...
So you did download the app?
Right, but
okay.
It's never made an account on it.
Well, and see how we're baby stepping. And I don't mind doing it, because like I said, I'm not trying... I know these are difficult conversations, and obviously you've never been in trouble. Obviously, a good person, you've built a life and everything like that, but I don't want small things I don't want your fear, I guess, of what may happen, to affect, I guess, how things go moving forward. Because again, if you've downloaded Kick app, I mean, if it's been accessed at all by, even if you've made up fake email accounts, like I said, all those things are going to have, like, fingerprints in your phone, even though they've been long deleted and haven't been used in months. Like, those are things that we will see when we look through these devices. And again, I don't want to have a situation where we're...
I did create one, but I can't.
So, and let me just... Because one of the other things that we did is, we can also go back and look at all the conversations and everything that are occurring. We can look at the accounts that were accessed, the things that are all saying. I mean, let's just put it this way. I've never had a case of anything even remotely like that. I mean, that's kind of something that happens in the movies, I guess. But with the way things are set up now, things are very, I guess, secure. Because if people really, let's say if someone does want to do something that they shouldn't be doing, and let's say they even would have some kind of way super ability to do things like that, to crack into people's things and do stuff like that. I mean, if you have that kind of ability, you don't need to even do that to access what you would need to access, because there's ways of doing that are like really easy. Like could I do it in a way that would not, throw off any flags to me without having to go through the trouble of doing certain things? Yeah, for sure. So is that like a realistic thing? Not really. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you have somebody that hates your guts and absolutely despises you and is trying to get people in trouble. I mean, that could be a thing, but again, it would require someone of an enormous amount of know-how and intelligence. So, like I said, I'm not trying to be very matter of fact and upfront with you, and I'm trying to kind of treat you with respect and dignity. And like I said, I'm not being judgmental. And again, I've already explained that even if let's say someone would be perfectly honest and be like, listen, this is kind of what's happening and how it's done. We're still, nobody would get arrested right now. We would go back. We would still do what we normally would do. But again, then at least I can make a case to my bosses that, like, listen, and we've done this many times where people are upfront and honest. They're like, listen, I know I shouldn't have been doing this. I did make a mistake. I knew better. Kind of felt a temptation type of thing. That's something we can work with, where again, it doesn't have to be a bigger thing. Like, it would literally be like, okay, come in for a half hour, get a booking, walk out the door, and you'd have a little slip of paper with a court date, versus the alternative, which, like I said, I can't really make an argument to not arrest and bring people down to jail if I think that something more is happening. And like I said, I try and give people, because again, especially people that have never been in trouble, which is a majority of the people I deal with, have like zero criminal history, have jobs, have families, are upstanding, people. This is one of those things, kind of like anything else, like kind of like certain forms of addiction or alcoholism. It's not, it can kind of be anyone, you know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily a conscious, like, this is what I want to do. It's part of, like I said, it's kind of part of who we are. It's one of those things that's kind of built in that we don't get to turn on and off. Yeah. We can kind of try and avoid. But like I said, I'm very much getting the sense that's the case with this, and I don't want to kind of end up down the road where, something like that is happening when it really doesn't need to occur that way. And if it would make it easier, we can have your wife go upstairs, or if you want to go outside and talk, I don't really care. I'm just, like I said, I understand the position you're in, and I very much appreciate it. So if there's a place...
Last time that I did have tried making chats with people on there.
Then the interview begins to shift. Detectives explain that even deleted apps and deleted conversations can often be recovered during forensic examinations. And after hearing that, the man's story starts to change.
I did have tried making chats with people on there.
Okay. Is there...
As far as I know, I didn't use my name, but as far as what the other one was, I can't.
Okay. You said you don't remember what you'd used, like what, like, I know you can make up like usernames.
Right. No.
Okay. Can't recall what they were.
Can't recall what that was with that.
Okay.
But there was a few that I tried doing chats with people and stuff.
Okay.
Most of it was make believe. For all of it was make-believe.
Okay, and I can appreciate that as well, because again, it's one of those things where I get
As
that.
far as pictures, I didn't do anything.
Okay.
If there was any pictures, I didn't.
Wait, here, why don't we... I got
didn't
you.
do anything like get pictures, send pictures. If somebody did that, it was without my knowledge.
Okay. As far as, would it help if we had like upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Brock, I got a question for you real quick.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll actually take her up and see where we're at.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to, and again, what you and I share, it's up to you what you want to do. Like I said, it's not my business to, like I said, when I don't have all the answers, let's say, if I don't have all the answers, I gotta keep digging until I find them, obviously, but.
Like I said, I make-believe chats on there.
Okay. What kind of things are we talking about? Like what? And again, there's no judgment here. I know we don't get to pick, and I guarantee whatever you say is going to pale in comparison with what I've many times heard before. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I've kind of learned. That
I remember is make-believe that I was a mother with a girl.
Okay.
And just fantasy sex.
Okay. Are we talking? So. Do you have like names or something just so I can? Because again, if
Holly.
Okay.
And Mary.
Okay. Would be who?
Holly would be the mom, and Mary would be the daughter.
Okay. And are we talking about we're speaking with people that? Are we talking about using the app to have these conversations? The Kick.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know any of the people in real life at all? Okay. When you find people on the app to chat with, how do you how do you find the people that are open to whatever you might be into, kind of thing?
Search, I guess.
Okay. Do you find like rooms, or is it off of like website stuff, or how do you kind of find? Because let's be honest, you and I both know like there's about you could name a niche for anything, right? Is there stuff like that, like you can like purposely like kind of find, like search out?
It was just an app.
The conversation is no longer about whether the app existed, it's now about how it was being used. Detectives continue asking questions, trying to determine whether this involved fantasy conversations online or something much more serious.
Okay. How long were you using that? Like roughly estimate. I mean, if you had
2 to 3 months.
Okay. When do you think you had like
end of last year was?
Okay.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out like roughly. Would you say like 2 to 3 months? Would that be like what? Are we talking like October,
December?
Okay. How did you like? Have you used Kick before for anything else?
No.
Have you used any other? Because again, there are a million out there.
If I want to remember, I think somebody suggested it.
Okay.
I was chatting with.
Okay. Use Kick. What have you used any other types of apps like WhatsApp, Signal? I mean, like I said, I could name a million. What's the other big one? I'm gonna forget. There's so many, but
really chat.
Okay. When you were
stuff is
okay.
in person.
When you were when the person that like suggested this to you, who or was it something online? Was it someone in real life? Or?
Online.
Okay. Do you remember where you communicated with that person online?
No.
Okay.
Honest, no.
Okay. When you were doing that, do you recall what devices you would use to use Kick, or is it multiple?
Well, it's probably the tablet.
Which one?
Red one.
Red one. Okay. Any others that you would have used with it? Okay. Not like it wouldn't be.
I may have done the phone once.
Okay.
But that's hard to read.
Which, I don't know whose phone this is.
That's
This
mine.
That's your phone? Okay. So maybe phone, maybe tablet, nothing on.
Investigators now have something important, a timeline. The suspect describes when the app was used and which devices may have been involved. Those details will later be compared against the digital evidence recovered from the electronics seized inside the home.
The things that they did, like I said, I did contact Kick after they sent us kind of this thing. And I can show you the two images and the way that they can actually, and I can even show you here. So one of the things is they specifically, like, you know, the other thing, obviously, these companies, because they're always collecting information for you, like everything that I do or they do, or, I mean, it is all literally down to the seconds and where it comes from and everything else. So some of the things that flagged the attention of, you know, Kick, basically, they know it was uploaded, meaning that, you know, upload, download, some people use those terms interchangeably, but like if I download something from the internet, that means, like, let's say I'm using my computer or my phone. If I want to download something on my phone, that means it doesn't exist right now on my phone, but I want it. So, you know, I'll go wherever it is, I'll download it from somewhere. Like I'll download it from a friend. So what happens then is that, let's say I get a picture from a friend that they send me, what they're doing is uploading something to the internet, meaning they are being the sender and I'm downloading it. And vice versa. If I send something, I am now uploading a picture and I'm going to send it to my friend. They're going to download it from me. So there, like I said, there were a couple of things that were uploaded from that account. And that's what, like, flagged the whole thing. And again, I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to, like, number one, my big thing is, like, I want to make sure the images, and I don't think this is the case, but I do have to ask, I got to make sure the images aren't something that, like, someone collected personally. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, giant difference between someone that is, like, all day long, I can go on the internet and view, but that doesn't mean I'm at home in my basement creating the, right? And obviously, if we're talking about, like, children,
Yes,
that's a huge difference. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a huge difference. So I do make sure that it's one thing that people are looking at something versus creating. You've never, and so if someone is uploading something, you know, you got to backtrack it. So if someone's uploading it, that means they have the picture. Have you ever engaged in any activity of any kind with any child?
No.
Okay. Is it only, like, kind of fantasy type things? Okay. And you've never, like, observed any real life, you know, recording or people recording or creating that kind of content toward activity with children? Okay. Like I said, I have to ask those questions. I don't think that's the case for these, but is it possible that you may have had certain images that would have shown children that maybe, you know, during the course of this fantasy chat that you would have, like, shared with other people as part of this whole...
Can't remember it.
Detectives explained why uploaded files are treated differently than simply viewing something online. Their job now is to determine exactly what happened, who was responsible, and whether any real victims were involved. By the end of the search, investigators had collected multiple electronic devices from the residence as part of the ongoing investigation. What started as a quiet knock on the door before sunrise had turned into a lengthy interview and a digital evidence case that would continue long after officers left the house. Cases like this rarely begin with flashing lights or dramatic arrests. They often begin with a single online report and a trail of digital evidence that investigators slowly piece together. If you watched all the way through, thank you. What was your biggest takeaway from this case? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown informative, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more body cam cases and true crime stories.
Nothing.
I'm just explaining, though, that like when I download something, it doesn't flag stuff because, again, you don't know until you look at it. But if I then have said thing and I'm like, okay, now I know what I have, and I send it to someone else, and again, I get as part of, like, some of these things, like, that's part of, you know, it's part of the experience, it's part of the fantasy, it's part of the things that we're talking about, for people to do stuff like that. But the images that flagged here did come from here. Like, they were uploaded to someone else. They were sent to someone during these. And I'm just going to have you take a look at a couple of them to see if maybe you're like, okay, yeah, I did send those out, but I didn't create these. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I want to make sure we didn't...
I had never created a picture.
Okay.
Never taken pictures of
Okay.
children or anything like that, other than grandchildren.
Okay. This is one of the photos. Does this look familiar?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. Do you remember where that came from?
Nope.
Sorry. These aren't anybody that you know?
Nope.
Okay, this isn't like your daughter and her friends from back in the day or anything? Okay.
Nope.
Which, again,
Watch, I can show you.
technically, is this illegal? No, it's not. I mean, and I kind of altered some of these images, but what about that one?
No, I don't remember that one.
Okay. Because, again, this is one that did, and I'm not trying to trick you. I'm being very upfront with
Right.
you. This is something where, you know, I don't know what your specific search.
Like I said, I do remember one.
Okay.
Like I said, it could have came here, yes, but I don't remember that.
Okay. So this one doesn't.
No.
Would we? What about this one? Also kind of edited.
I remember seeing that one, yes.
Okay. So this one you do.
Yep.
Is this something that you might have seen from, or something that you might have seen or sent like during that? Basically, the gist is, if we have because again, stuff is there's always things left behind. As much as we think everything is gone or deleted, if there's stuff still on the phone, like I said, that would qualify like under stuff with like kids and being like a thing. Like I said, what we'll do is I would just have you come in, get booked for like 20 minutes, and like I said, literally walk out the door with a piece of paper. And again, we're not making a big kind of huge ordeal. Again, you've never been in trouble with anything before. You've been very honest. I'll make all that very well known. And basically you would get like a future court date, if that's the case even. Like I said, if there's nothing on the phones, then basically...
Like I said, the only two devices I use for chatting would be the phone and the tablet.
Tablet. Okay. If there's nothing on any of those things, basically this will be like a huge, hopefully like holy shit, I've really got to really, I mean, not saying...
I'll say one-time mistake.
Yeah, like we cannot, like I said, realizing that you maybe have some of these things that, it's in the fantasy sense, we probably got to dial it back just a notch to make sure that we don't do these certain things that are creating this situation. So, sorry that we're seeing each other under these circumstances, but like I said, I do think it's best to kind of get the stuff squared away. And like I said, kind of like in anything in life, we all make mistakes, and it's best to kind of work with those head on and kind of move on from there.
Yeah.
So, let me get Brock out of here, and we'll get out of here. Oh, never mind, there he is. All right, thank you.